let's talk about horizontal and vertical lines. So let's start with horizontal. And if I were to draw a horizontal line on my graph like this, first thing I want you to notice is that for any x value I'd pick, the y value is the same. So if I said, well, x is 4, y is 3. X is -5, the y value is 3. So the way that we write the equation of a horizontal line is just to say that y will always be 3. We don't involve x at all. We just say it doesn't matter what x is because y is always 3. So if I were to say, well, now let's go the other way. I want to draw y equals -1. We would go to -1 and say, okay, it's just a horizontal line where the y values are always -1 for any x value that we pick. So something like that. Now, another thing to think about is the slope. And I want to do a calculation here quick. I'm going to pick 2 points on my graph. Let's do those two. So the point is -4 and 3. And this point is -1 and 3. Okay, those are my 2 coordinates that I'm picking. So if I were to find the slope, remember the slope formula is find the difference between the 2 y values and divide that by the difference between the 2 x values. Let's do that in this case. So my y values are 3 and 3. My x values were -4 and -1. So here I get 0, and down here I get -3, but 0 divided by anything is 0. The slope of any horizontal line will be 0. And if you want to think about it, one of these alternate definitions of slope where you say, well, rise over run, and then say, well, why is the slope 0? Well, it's because there is no rise. This function is not going up or down. It's just going to the right or to the left, but it's never rising. So the rise is 0, and the run is just, however far apart the points are that you happen to pick. In my case, they were, 3 units apart, but the rise was 0. So again, any horizontal line will have an equation of y equals, and then whatever the y will always be equal to, and the slope of any horizontal line will be 0. Let's talk about vertical lines. So a vertical line that looks like this is a little bit different in that, in this case, the x value is always 2. And whatever, I say, okay, x is 2, well, the y value can be any y value. It doesn't matter because every y value has the same exact x value. So a horizontal line had a y equals equation. A vertical line will have an x equals equation. In this case, x is just always going to be 2. So if I said, well, graph x equals -4, we would come to -4 and just draw a vertical line, all of the values for which x is -4. Now, if I were to pick points on this curve, so let's kind of do what I did with the other one. I'm just going to pick a couple of points. Doesn't matter which points. So this is 2, 4. And this is 2, 1. And remembering that my slope is the difference in the y's over the difference in the x's. Well, here the y values were 4 and 1, so 4 minus 1, and the x values were both 2. So I get 3 divided by 0. This is an undefined slope. Any vertical line will have an undefined slope. And again, going to that alternate definition of rise over run, well, why is it undefined? It's because there can be a rise, it's going up or down, but there is no run. It is never moving side to side. So we get a number here, but we are dividing by 0 because there is no run. Something to just remember, if you take 0 and divide it by some number, any number, that's 0. But if you take a number and divide it by 0, that is undefined. So we cannot divide by 0, but we certainly can have 0 in our numerator. If this video helped you to understand horizontal and vertical lines, please like and subscribe for more math help.